It's 52 past 5. Good morning. It's a beautiful morning here again in Culburra Beach. Every one of them lately has been stunning like this. I'm sure you can see this now. You don't need me to point at it, but there's the sunrise. Woohoo! Wee-ha-wah-hi! Beautiful. Now, an update on my elbow. So I went to the orthopedic surgeon yesterday, a surgeon called Dr. Jarman with a G. Now, how to begin all this? I'm quite upset. So, his diagnosis was I have what's called a terrible triad injury. A terrible triad injury. If you Google this, it will be very clear what that is. It's an injury resulting from a dislocation. I can't quite reach my nose because of the cast. It's an injury of the elbow resulted from a dislocation. Now, three things have to take place for it to be a terrible triad. It has to be a dislocation, there has to be some kind of radial bone dislodgement, there has to be some kind of see, I'm not a doctor, but I did a bit of research and there was something to do with the ulnar bone, and then there was something else that had to happen. Now, this elbow already was broken 10 months ago. So that comes up on the X-rays. That comes up as a so the head of the radius. This orthopedic surgeon told me that my radial head needs to be rebuilt via surgery. Rebuilt, like it's entirely smashed and it needs to be rebuilt. Now on the X-rays, you can't really see that. Like, I don't see that. And I've got no pain. I mean, I'm holding my vlogging camera again now. There's no pain here. The doctor at the hospital, when they discharged me, told me, we're not giving you any pain meds because you don't have any pain. So what I'm getting at is I don't really believe the diagnosis from Dr. Jarman. Basically, I don't believe it. He wants to rebuild my radial head and put pins and sutures and stitch my ligaments back together. And I've got a dislocated elbow. Well, I had a dislocated elbow. I have no pain associated with it now. The X-ray doesn't show a smashed radial head. There's a little fleck, there's a little chip of bone that's floating willy-nilly in space or in the tissue, and sure, that could be removed, but I don't think it 100% has to be. There's also another side to this story where I just want to pause and have a look at this sun, make myself feel a little bit better. I was actually checking the time code because there is another element to this story which I'll probably have to get into tomorrow, but the question to the givers is, he's the only orthopedic surgeon in the area. For me to go back up to Sydney, I've got to go to one of his colleagues who he said will say the exact same thing as him. They studied together.